want dis ons land, dis ons taal, en sonder soek kan ons gaan stories haal. Maar wil lewe in die tuine hooggebou uit sand, die helde see en die goue straat, die landskap wat oor generasies vertel, die harte wat in ritme met die golwe val. Ons land, ons taal.
Goeiemôre, dit is Vrydag 24 April 2020. Die naam van die program is Kletskompas. My naam is Denverkiesting. Ek kan my baie goed voorstel dat dit dalk nie soos 'n Vrydag vir u voel nie, dat dit glad nie soos naweek voel nie, maar kom ons probeer om die werklikheid te omarm vir wat dit is. Op vanoggend se klets spyskaart, kollega Andrew Poelman, ons sportredakteur, gesels met ons een van ons baanhelde, Fredericks, oor die impak van COVID-19 op 'n mens se fiksheid in die algemeen, maar ons loer ook bietjie na sy roemryke loopbaan. En omdat dit wel Vrydag is, omdat dit naweek is, sluit ons vandag se program met 'n boerekonsertina af. So dis waarvoor u kan uitsien in vandag se program. Terselfdertyd loer ek ook gou na die nuusgebeure van die dag. Ons lei met 'n berig oor moontlike 4 kwartale vir die Ministerie van Onderwys, Kuns en Kultuur. Nou, een van die ministeries wat 'n baie moeilike besluit moet neem op die oomblik met bittermin opsies, is die Ministerie van Onderwys, Kuns en Kultuur. Hulle is tans besig om met verskeie rolspelers te beraadslag oor wat die moontlikhede is. Ons weet dat daar baie min moontlikhede is, maar uiteindelik wil ons verseker dat ons leerlinge, ons jeug, ons toekoms van môre wel opgelei en opgevoed en onderrig word om seker te maak dat ons land aan die gang kan bly wat die ekonomie betref, maar ook wat die sosio-ekonomiese en maatskaplike welstand betref. So een van die opsies wat hulle oorweeg, en die ministerie het gistermiddag by monde van sy uitvoerende direkteur Sanet Steenkamp gesê, hierdie is nog 'n konsepdokument. Dis nog nie die alfa en die omega nie. Hulle oorweeg nog die opsies. En sy het ook gesê dat dit nogal jammer is dat die beperkte aantal rolspelers met wie hulle beraadslag hierdie vertroulike dokumente uitlek aan die media of aan die publiek, en dan dink mense, hulle maak aannames dat dit reeds die finale besluit is. Hulle probeer hulle bes om alles te oorweeg, om aan die kind te dink, om aan die onderwysers te dink, om aan die ouers te dink en om aan die samelewing en die toekoms te dink. So hulle moet somme maak. Hulle moet seker maak skole skoon. Hulle moet seker maak dat skole reg is om die regulasies van die Wêreldgesondheidsorganisasie te handhaaf in terme van sosiale afstand. Ons weet ons het beperkings met betrekking tot internet, met krag, met aantal leerlinge, met aantal klaskamers, met aantal onderwysers. So hulle kyk na 'n paar goed. Ook op ons voorblad vandag natuurlik 'n berig oor die impak van vleis uitvoere spesifiek na Noorwe wat deur die pandemie vertraag is. So wat ons weet is dat verskeie sektore geraak word en ons het reeds daarna verwys. En ons vleisuitvoere waarop ons baie steun en ons baie trots op die gehalte van die vleis wat ons normaalweg kan uitvoer, maar dit is ook ongelukkig deur hierdie pandemie geraak. Die impak van COVID-19 op die kunste is wat vanoggend by die COVID-19 kommunikasiesentrum by die Komastreekkantoor in Windhoek bespreek sal word. Ons weet dit is 'n sektor wat baie vir ons beteken in terme van vermaak, om ons te kalmeer, om ons luim dalk te lig, maar hulle voel ook die impak. Baie dikwels ook omdat hulle nie vir 'n salaris werk nie, maar vir optredes en die inkomste wat hulle daar genereer werk. So ons moet ook aan hulle dink terwyl ons aan onsself dink. Met betrekking tot die woordvoerder van die stadspolisie, dis nou waarnemende sergeant Fabian Amakulele, sy regspan in die staat sal na verwagting vanoggend in die Windhoek Landdroshof in Katatura slotbetoë lewer. Hy het die afgelope week aansoek gedoen om 'n borgtog. Dit was natuurlik 'n formele aansoek, en dan is die verwagting dat die hof die saak sal uitstel tot volgende week om te bepaal of borgtog wel aan hom toegestaan sal word. Hy het vroeër van dese week getuig dat dit wel seks met instemming was. Die ondersoekbeampte wat aanvanklik die saak behartig het en 'n maatskaplike werker het hulle weergawe gegee, naamlik dat dit volgens die klaar nie seks met instemming was nie. So ons kyk hoe daai saak ontvou. Dis wat vandag se nuusgesprek betref.
Good morning to all our viewers. We are privileged this morning to have a quick interview by telephone with Namibian former Olympic legend sprinter Fredericks on the line. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so you've been complying strictly with the national stay-at-home order. So how have you been coping with the lockdown?
You know, I think that's the best thing that one can do in this circumstances. We really don't know what's happening out there. So when people say we need to stay home and stay safe, I want to protect the ones around me. So that's what I'm doing. I mean, I have been home now for the last, I don't know how many days, only going out to do my basic essential buying of groceries so that I have enough food for a week or so, and then I go out again. What I've been keeping myself busy is just basically doing some daily exercises, walking quite a lot, and then, I mean, staying fit. I've been doing some puzzles. You know, I finished my first puzzle in a long time. I did a 500 pieces, so maybe I'll look for a bigger one and start that one for the next few days.
All right. We've seen you challenge some of your friends on social media to also post videos of their training sessions at home. Do you believe that exercising is an important part of staying healthy physically and emotionally during this time?
Yes, it is very important during this time, especially, I mean, I think we are very lucky with our lockdown that the government has given us the opportunity to walk outside and to stay in groups of 3, obviously exercising, social distancing. But I think that was a good thing, at least that keeps us sane, that keeps us outside. We can go outside, we can do some walks, we can do some training. But for the ones that do not have the space, I mean, I just thought that it is very difficult, especially the first few days. And that's why I thought that I will just give them inspiration. I will challenge a few people. I put a few exercises out there. I mean, I just basically did the exercises in my kitchen, living room area, so that, I mean, people can see that you don't really need a big space to do exercises. And if you really want to keep fit and you want to do exercises during this time, it is not about the space, it is about having the heart to really start doing it. And I mean, if we are just eating and eating and eating and not doing anything during this time, everybody will start getting frustrated and gain weight, and it will just be another problem after this lockdown.
Yeah. So most of us remember you having an extraordinary successful career, also being very consistent as a sprinter during the 1990s and early 2000s, winning gold medals at the African Championships, gold medals at the Commonwealth Games, setting a world indoor world record indoors that still stands to this day, winning a gold medal there also, and also 4 silver medals at the Olympic Games. So do any of these achievements stand out for you as especially memorable?
I mean, I think they all stand out. I mean, I think obviously you have to understand, I mean, I grew up under the apartheid system, and I never really dreamt of being able to fulfill my talent. I think for me the dream was basically during those times, during the 80s, just to see whether I can become the fastest person in the South Africa, and to get my Springbok colors. I think that was my dream. I mean, you know, I think when I achieved that, that was a big achievement for me, because that was a dream. And obviously when I went to America and Namibië got independent in 1990, you know, new doors opened for me, and I realized that, I mean, through my talent, I can advertise this beautiful country of ours, and I can showcase my talent to the world. So I think it just started obviously through the independence, and I have to be really thankful for the people that gave us independence, because if the independence would have happened a few years after my career started picking up, I would have not have taken this seriously. I would have been in an age where I would have realized that I had to go start find a job, I had to work, and I had to pay back my scholarship. So I think, you know, I was in a very fortunate position in the 90s, or when we got independent. So I realized that through this fortunate opportunity, that I have to now make the best of it. And I take it year by year. I set goals every year, and I just, it seems like I achieved them sooner than what I thought. I never thought that in '92 I would already, on my first Olympics, get a medal or get 2 medals. So I think things just happened for me very fast, but I think it's because I set realistic goals, and every year I set my goals, and I just wanted to basically see how fast I can push this body of mine, and things just happen for me in very fast and very quick.
So during your career, you've achieved victories, or you've beaten all of the world leading sprinters of your era. Were there any opponents whom it gave you a special satisfaction to win against?
No, I think Michael Johnson brought the best out of me. I think we competed together in university, and he was so much better than us at university level. So I think when when I started competing with him, and I realized that, because he was a 200-400 runner, and I was just I was a 100-200 meter runner. So I realized that I had to really started working harder so that my endurance is better. So Michael made me start doing things that I would normally not do. So I started running 500. I started running longer distances, because I realized that I'm faster than him when it comes to pure speed, but he's got the endurance. So if we have to go now and run 4 rounds of the 200, then of course with his endurance he will be better. So I think he made me realize that I can step it up, and I think I have to really thank him for pushing me, because otherwise I would have never been able to push my body to run 1968 and still have the African record in the 200. So I think he really made me work harder. I think every January when I start training, I think I had a motivation that this year I'm going to beat him. And obviously when I broke his winning streak of I don't know how many races, it was a nice thing to cross the line and say, yes, I did it. And so I think that was, I think Michael was probably the one that pushed me to bigger height.
Great. So looking at Namibian sprinting, since you've been retired, we've seen a number of talented youngsters coming through over the years. However, no one has really come close to achieving the same level of success and longevity as you did. So do you see any factors which could help Namibia retain more of its talented athletes and to develop them to a higher level?
Yes, I think we have to collectively sit down and think what we need to do with the athletes, because I think a lot of these athletes, when they are in high school, and even when they're 18, 19 years old, they are probably more talented than what I was and what Gerald Barnard was. So I think these kids have the potential to make it. But obviously, if you are in the newspapers every day and you start believing that you are the bee's knees, that you have reached it, I think it will be harder for you to work, because I think, the problem that we have is that athletes need to realize that from age 20 to 25, those are the years that you will have to grind through. You will not have your school behind you. You will not have your principals. You will not have the NSSU supporting you. So it is now a time where you have to mature yourself and go out of the system, and you will have to do some basic sacrifices. I mean, like most of us have sacrificed. I have sacrificed to leave my family, go to America, live there by myself, don't know anybody. And those are the type of sacrifices that I don't know whether these young men and women at the moment are willing to take, because I think there are also pressures from their families that they have to start working, they need to start supporting their family. So there's a lot of factors that affect them now, because they don't have the luxury that we had during that time, that I was an only child. My mother could look after herself for the 3, 4, 5 years that I am trying to hustle the world and trying to get a situation for myself to get there. And then afterwards you will get the rewards, and then everybody will be happy. And that is the time that is difficult for the athletes, between ages 20 to 25, because that's when they have to make decisions. Do I study? Do I work? Do I find you know, what am I going to do? Am I just going to run? And how am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my family? How am I going to support something? And that is the critical part and the most difficult part for us to find a way that we need to find sponsorship for the athletes, because that's why most of the kids after they leave school, they lost their talent. And we talk about all these youngsters that are, like I said, that were a lot more talented than me, but obviously it is those after 25, 26 is when you can start competing with the world-class athletes, and that is what we need to find a way. What are we going to do for the transition for these athletes between the ages of 20 to 25?
Okay, so at an administrative level, you've also been the president of Athletics Namibia previously. So what steps do you believe Namibia should take to raise its level of competitiveness when compared to the likes of our neighbors South Africa and even Botswana?
Yeah, I think if you talk about the two countries that you mentioned, South Africa and Botswana, they have a structure, like I told you. They obviously have universities that can accommodate these athletes and have a transition where they get a scholarship. I think that's also the American model. And that is what we need to find. We need to find, because I think during my time we were lucky that we had mines. So we could all go to mines, we could work for mines, and then we could compete between the different mines. So every mine wants to beat the other one. So all the talented guys were recruited to either one or the other mines, and that's what we don't have. We have a gap here. So we have a huge gap that, you know, I don't know which administrator can fulfill it, because a young man has to decide now: am I going to go find a job and support my family, or am I going to continue sacrifice myself for to be the fastest person in Namibia, but you know, I have no money to go to training with a taxi. I have no money to eat. So there are many social problems that the athletes have that we need to accommodate. But I don't know how we're going to do it, because we don't have the money to do that. I mean, maybe the universities, the mines, but obviously everybody's cutting down. Everybody's running things because of the economic situation. So I'm really not sure what there is. But I think we need to probably sit around the table and get all the smart people that can give us ideas how we can overcome this.
Okay, so just finally, your sports foundation have been setting an example by supporting the Paralympic sprinter Johannes Nambala financially, and earlier this month the foundation basically gave him an extra 50,000 after it became known that the Olympic and the Paralympic Games in Tokyo have been postponed to next year. So do you have any message of encouragement maybe to sports people that are currently unable to practice as hard as they normally would?
Yes, it's probably a very difficult situation for them. I mean, I know that, when like I said, in January, they probably have set their goals already, what they wanted to achieve this year, and I think probably Tokyo Olympics was probably the milestone for the Paralympians. It was probably also Tokyo. So I think, when that is disrupted, it's like you have to start all over again, making a new plan, and now you don't have the normal competition. So I think all I can wish them is that I wish them all the best. I wish them that they stay home, they stay safe. I mean, try to get in some fitness, and then just regroup and get themselves ready for next year. I think the Olympics will be next year. I think Hilaria must probably feel very I don't know how she feels, because I think she was probably so in such a wonderful shape, and probably our hope of getting a gold medal at Tokyo. So I think she must really, I don't know how she feels. I have not talked to her during this lockdown, but I think that the foundation have decided to give Johannes $200,000, $50,000 per year since Rio. And we just felt that it was fair that we give him an additional 50,000, because we know that he needs money for training, he needs money to pay for accommodation, he needs money for many things, and we know that the 50,000 is not enough, and we just hope and wish that the rest of the community and the private people will come up and support. We also have, I'm busy looking at a few more scholarships that we have received, opportunities to see whether we we are getting donations. I mean, obviously, I'm giving donations to the foundation, and we're getting donations through other fundraisers that we do. And since the economy is going through a tough times, we are not raising as much money as we could to help everybody. But I will announce a few more scholarships in the next 2 weeks to give some athletes encouragement so that they can continue to train and know that some of us are thinking about them during this difficult time. Because I mean, I think without the monetary support, that I don't know where I would have been if I did not get the support from the community and from the sponsorship from the company.
So Frank, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best during the coming years and also during this difficult time. Thanks a lot.
No, thank you very much. Stay safe, and you guys are essential, but be safe out there. Thank you very much.
Welcome to this epic Namibian safari. If you look to the left, an amazing bird life. Look there to the right, a beautiful elephant. Look there, a hilarious hyena.
Hallo julle, ek is Nico Skool.
En ek is Renet. Ons hoop dit gaan goed met julle en dat julle nog veilig en gesond by die huis is.
Ons wil ook net baie dankie sê vir die mense wat vir ons gestem het. Ons waardeer dit regtig baie.
So, ons wonder sommer wat maak julle met julle tyd? Ons by werk maar meestal van die huis af en dan kry ons soms nou en dan ook 'n tydjie om op 'n safari te gaan.
Onthou, wees lief vir mekaar en dan sien ons julle by die finale.
Bye!
Ons land, ons taal.
Ek wou nie aan die begin van die program die aap uit die mou laat nie, maar die finaliste vir ons bruidekonsertina is uiteraard bekend en ek hoop u daai eerste video van die eerste paar saam met ons geniet vandag. Soos ek vroeër gesê het, ek weet dit voel dalk nie soos 'n Vrydag nie. Ek besef dit voel glad nie soos 'n naweek nie, maar kom ons probeer hierdie nuwe werklikheid, hierdie nuwe normaal omarm en die beste daarvan maak. Ons sluit die program af vandag met die boerekonsertina deur Hannes Bergh. Geniet hom saam met ons en as u nie 'n lewensmaat tuis het om saam met te skoffel nie, skoffel gerus op u eie en wees veilig en gesond. Groetnis. Wat is COVID-19? COVID-19 is 'n nuwe siekte wat jou longe en lugweë aantas. Dit word deur 'n koronavirus veroorsaak. Wat is die simptome? Hoes, koors, minstens 38 grade Celsius en kort asem. Onthou, maskers is vir gesondheidswerkers en mense wat reeds siek is. Maak seker inligting wat gedeel word, kom van 'n betroubare bron af. Moenie opgaar nie, winkelvoorraad sal wel aangevul word. Inentings teen longontsteking beskerm jou nie teen COVID-19 nie. COVID-19 kan nie deur muskiete oorgedra word nie. Basiese beskerming teen COVID-19. Was hande gereeld. Maak hande gereeld en behoorlik met handreiniger of seep en water skoon. Bly op 'n afstand. Bly minstens 1 meter van iemand wat hoes of nies weg. Moenie aan jou oë, neus en mond raak nie. Hande raak aan baie oppervlakke en kan virusse optel. Wanneer jou hande besmet is, kan die virus na jou oë, neus en mond versprei. Nies en hoes in 'n sneusie of in jou elmboog in. Bedek jou mond en neus met jou gebuigde arm wanneer jy hoes of nies. Gooi die sneusie dadelik weg. Feit of fiksie. In die sosiale media word mites versprei oor hoe mense die nuwe koronavirus kan stop of hoe om COVID-19, die siekte wat dit veroorsaak, te behandel. Hier is 'n paar feite om die kaf van die koring te skei. Met betrekking tot oordrag, fiksie. Die nuwe koronavirus kan deur muskietbyte en in Chinese kos versprei word. Die feit is, nee, die nuwe koronavirus is 'n respiratoriese virus wat hoofsaaklik deur druppeltjies van 'n geïnfekteerde persoon versprei word wat hoes of nies of uit asem is of deur druppeltjies, speeksel of afskeiding van die neus. Beskerming. Fiksie. Om gereeld jou neus met 'n soutoplossing uit te spoel sal keer dat jy met COVID-19 geïnfekteer word. Feit, nee, daar is geen bewyse om gereeld jou neus met 'n soutoplossing uit te spoel jou teen die siekte gaan beskerm nie. Daar is geringe bewyse die gereelde spoel met 'n soutoplossing kan sommige mense help om vinniger van 'n gewone verkoue te herstel, maar dit voorkom nie ligweginfeksies nie. Fiksie. In die sosiale media word daar ook beweer deur jou hele lyf met kloor of alkohol te bespuit, jy jouself teen infektering kan beskerm. Nog iemand beweer deur met bleikmiddel te gorrel of reuse volumes water te drink, die virus op 'n manier uit jou lyf gewas word. Die feite hier rondom is, daar is geen bewyse om die beweringe te staaf nie. Goeie higiëniese praktyke, soos om gereeld jou hande te was en noue sosiale kontak te vermy, kan help om die risiko van infektering te verminder. Fiksie. Handdroërs kan die nuwe koronavirus doodmaak. Die feit is nee, geen handdroër is doeltreffend teen COVID-19 nie. Maar om gereeld jou hande met 'n alkoholgebaseerde handontsmetmiddel of met seep en water te was, is wel. Skoon hande moet baie deeglik met 'n skoon handdoek of 'n ligdroër droog gemaak word. Fiksie. Koue weer, warm weer, sneeu, om knoffel te eet of 'n warm bad kan help keer dat mense met COVID-19 geïnfekteer word. Die feit is, daar is geen bewyse dat COVID-19 deur weeromstandighede en seisoene geraak word nie. Die beste manier om jouself te beskerm is om jou hande gereeld te was en kontak te vermy met persone wat wel geïnfekteer is. Op die manier kan jy virusse vernietig wat moontlik op jou hande sit en 'n infektering verhoed, wanneer jy aan jou oë, mond en neus raak. Fiksie, jy moet altyd 'n masker dra as jy buite is. Die feit is nee, mense wat gesond is, die wat geen simptome van COVID-19 toon nie en nie met die siekte gediagnoseer is nie, moet net 'n masker dra as hulle iemand versorg wat 'n vermoedelike of 'n bevestigde COVID-19 pasiënt is. Maskers is net doeltreffend as jy hoes of nies en jy moet jouself isoleer. Dit is ook net nodig in kombinasie met gereelde hande was en ander gebruike vir persoonlike higiëne. Met betrekking tot die behandeling, fiksie en feite. Fiksie, antibiotika kan die nuwe koronavirus voorkom en behandel. Die feit is, antibiotika werk nie teen virusse nie en slegs teen bakterieë. Dit sal nie enige infektering van die nuwe koronavirus voorkom of behandel nie. Daar is tans geen spesifieke medikasie vir die behandeling van COVID-19 nie. Almal wat geïnfekteer is, kan matige simptome verlig en behandel met medikasie wat oor die toonbank beskikbaar is en wat parasetamol en aspirien vir koors insluit, volgens Reuters.